Hello, I'm Danielle Ladd, and welcome to our third episode of PC Talks Politics. Today, we will be discussing the freedom of speech and what some have called the war on women after the disturbing comments made by Rush Limbaugh towards Sandra Fluke, Georgetown law student who testified before the Congressional Democrats, advocating that contraception should be covered under the insurance plans. And just who came out on top after Super Tuesday this week? We'll have the reactions from two of our Providence College campus experts. We're happy to have with us today Shayna Kaufman, a junior management major with us from Rhode Island, and Matt Pavia, a freshman political science and economics major from Connecticut. Welcome, and thank you both very much for your time.
Sure.
This week, Rush Limbaugh reacted to 30-year-old law student Sandra Fluke's testimony that contraception should be included in insurance plans by calling Ms. Fluke a slut and emphasizing that if the population is going to be paying for her to sleep around, then she should be videotaped and thus videotape herself in the act and post it for the public to view. Now, luckily, we have the benefit of having the freedom of speech in this country, but did Rush Limbaugh cross the line? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I certainly do not think that calling someone a slut is ever appropriate, but I will say this, that it is his radio show and he is allowed to say whatever he wants, as long as it is, of course, not fighting words or obscene speech. He is protected by the First Amendment, but it's certainly, once again, not the words I would have used to describe anyone.
You know, I'm going to agree with you. I think he was probably out of line with his comment calling someone a slut. That would not be the words that I would have chosen. But you have to understand what Rush Limbaugh does every day. You know, he puts on a show for his fellow listeners, and, you know, his listeners tend to like his enthusiasm about certain options and topics and everything. And he was just trying to project to his audience the way he felt about it. So that's, you know, I think he probably overstepped his boundaries, but he is protected by the First Amendment. But he's just trying to be an entertainer, and that's what he does.
If he is trying to be an entertainer, then how would you react to the fact that he's lost so many now endorsements and he's being pulled from various places?
Well, you know, I think that also happened with Tiger Woods when he got his scandal. You know, his endorsement people dropped him like flies and ran away. And the same thing happened to Rush Limbaugh when he makes comments like this.
Now the GOP candidates have also reacted to Limbaugh's comments, and if we could just review a few quotes that a few have said. Romney has said, you know, it's not the language I would have used. And Santorum has said, he's being absurd, but that's, you know, an entertainer can be absurd. Could you comment on these statements, and are they enough to get across that this action was wrong?
I don't think that Rush Limbaugh has to be reprimanded by any of the GOP candidates. I mean, obviously these were the wrong words to say, an average American can tell you that. But I will agree with what both of them said. It's not the language I would have used, and he's an entertainer. I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh not because I chose to, but he is an entertainer. I have witnessed that. And so using some of the most outlandish words and the way he speaks even is pure entertainment.
I guess if this is what we consider entertainment, then where is that line between what's right and what's wrong?
This was definitely a wrong word choice, but I don't think that there should be any more regulations on restricting freedom of speech.
Okay. Matt,
You know, just
comment?
going back to that, if Rush Limbaugh has to, you know, be reprimanded for his comments, why can't shows like The Jersey Shore or other shows on MTV look at what they're doing? I mean, they're not doing, I don't know if that's any much better than calling someone a slut, which wouldn't be the words I would have chosen, but have you ever seen those shows? Those shows aren't really portraying entertainment in the best way everyone wants to see it. So I agree with the two candidates running for the GOP president that he's an entertainer, and the words that I wouldn't use either.
On the other hand, you have President Obama, who called Ms. Fluke to thank her for having the courage to speak out and express herself. And he also expressed that he hopes that his daughters someday, you know, have the ability to do this and exercise their freedom of speech just as well as she has. You know, Can you react a little to how his comments, or maybe why they are so different than some of the GOP candidates?
It's convenient for the president to thank Sandra Fluke because, of course, she's promoting what he originally wanted. So the fact that Obama called her up to thank her is not surprising to me. But I don't think that's much different than Rush Limbaugh sending a letter of apology to her. So, of course, Rush is not going to support what Mrs. Fluke was saying, but he still reached out to her, as did the president.
I think also, I mean, we need to look at, too, if Rush truly stood behind his statement. Recently, he has pulled certain words from the transcript of that day. Can you comment on maybe why he would pull those things if he really stands by what he has said and believes?
Well, that is contradictory. If he's going to pull the words from his transcript, then he's obviously not going to stand by what he originally said. And he sees now that that was wrong, as do many of us. We say things, we do things that are wrong, and we don't want to remember them.
That's true. Matt, did the president in any way cross the line?
I think President Obama is right on track with this. You know, I mean, his daughters, they've become icons in America, and you know, I mean, him apologizing to her is probably what the President of the United States should be doing. You know, the lady, Mrs. Fluke, was called by the Democrats to come and speak in front of them because she wasn't able to speak when the Republicans had asked their people to come and testify. So I think President Obama is right on track with that. But I also like to make the comment that Bill Maher, who has an HBO show, who sits, you know, every night blasting Republicans, same with people on MSNBC, making comments about other Republicans. You know, Bill Maher even said, we can't be contradicting, you know, we do it ourselves. We say things about Republicans, we say things about people that at the time were heated, were energetic. We make comments, and then when we think back on it, hey, we probably shouldn't have said those comments. So even Bill Maher, you know, who considers himself a Democrat, says, let's take it easy on Rush. You know, we all do it. So that's my comment.